Hello, I'm Danny DeHeck. If you haven't been watching the news lately, I've been investigating one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in America. It's a company called Goliath Ventures Inc. They raised between 300 and 500 million from investors across Florida, Pennsylvania, and Canada. They're now trying to silence me with a lawsuit in Florida, even though I live in New Zealand. I personally filed a 22-page motion to dismiss the other day. And that shows that that company has no legal right to sue me the way they have tried to. They've even tried to bribe me with $150,000 in Bitcoin to take my reporting down. And we will show you this today. It's breathtaking. When that didn't work, they used their lawyers to intimidate me, filing fake subpoenas and sending bogus settlement letters. This is a company that's not legally registered to sell investments or handle public funds. No doubt you're an investor. They have no right to touch your money. They use illegally raised money to buy influence. Take photos with the big names like Michael Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, and Eric Trump, just to make themselves look legitimate. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is not about politics. I'm not political at all. This is about fraud. I can't even say it. Manipulation. I have to get that word read. Manipulation.
Manipulation.
Manipulation. I can't say it. Let's just say. And most importantly, intimidation. So I'm here to show you the truth behind Goliath Ventures, their lawyers and their dirty tactics. I'm a YouTuber. I'm trying to make my livelihood out of doing YouTube videos exposing scams. I'm shocking at it. I don't make enough money to merit the time that I spend doing this. They've gone after my YouTube channel. They've shut down my Instagram, my TikTok, my Reddit account. I get untold spam on my WhatsApp, and it's been intimidation, and I've had to defend myself. Now, for people who know me, I don't have any money. I don't have money for corporate lawyers. Only reason I've filed this motion to dismiss is because every bit of knowledge I've got shows me that they're not doing this to actually for defamation or anything like that. They're doing it to silence me. So I've prepared a blog, and some of the stuff that you see in here will blow you away, because what you see on my videos and what is actually happening with Goliath Ventures and what they're trying to do to me is actually intimidation. And I have spent all day long getting myself ready to do this video because I am exhausted. I am Danny and they are Goliath. And this is like David and Goliath. And I will fight this to the bitter end. And I'm hoping that if you go into the description of this video, you will see a link to my blog. And in my blog, there's 4 documents. And if you can read those documents different than me, you will see those documents speak for themselves. And you don't even need to read or listen to this video anymore, because they are just disgusting bottom feeders. And They will not stop me. I have nothing. I have no motive. I did not wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to ruin a whole lot of investors' money. I see corruption, I see fraud, I see disgusting bottom feeders, and I'm here to expose them. And I will fight it to the death because that's what I do. Let's get started. Now, let's see if we can make it the right size for the screen. So people say to us, this is obviously a large-scale Ponzi scheme. Now, if you don't know what a Ponzi scheme is, it's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. You go and recruit people, and you get the new people's money, and you pay the old investors. The old investors are getting paid, so they are deliriously happy because they're getting all the money, and then they squawk about it to every one of their friends. That's what it is. So we're guesstimating with it's a $300 to $500 million. They've taken that much money from investors across Florida, Pennsylvania, and Orlando, Canada, and it's all been exposed by me. And we have been privy to many people getting their money out, pulling their funds out, and getting their money back home, which is really, really cool. And if you're going to do the same, do it now if you can. A lot of money's been frozen. They're charging you fees when they didn't agree to it. The company's been shut down. I'm not going to get into it. This blog exposes it all. But it is actually, quite breathtaking. So let's get into it. Now, people say to us, how do you know it's a 500 million? Well, we haven't got their books because no one's seen their books. So we use, the monies that we know there's a lot of wealthy people who've invested a lot of money in this. We know of one recruiter that's recruited $100 to $120 million for Goliath Ventures. We know of one investor that invested $15 million, just one person. He's in the medical profession. We know there were 16 other people in the medical profession also invested heavily. So we know that the money's up there. And if we listen to them and their lies, they claimed in 2024 that they gave $100 million away to investors. So that's where we come up with a figure. But no one's seen the books. No one's seen any proof of the claims that they say they're doing. It's just a Ponzi scheme. And I've been doing this for 5 years. You don't get 4% return anywhere in the world. Not unless you're robbing a bank. All right. So I filed a 22-page motion to dismiss to prove that Goliath Ventures Ponzi Schemes has no legal standing to sue me, a New Zealand-based journalist, in a Florida court. That's why I did this motion to dismiss, because they have no legal standing to do it. And it took me a lot of work, and it's cost me a lot of money for me to do that, but I've done it myself. I haven't got any legal counsel. It's Danny and Goliath. They've got hotshot lawyers that they can, well, they aren't really hotshot lawyers, but anyway. So Goliath has raised hundreds of millions of dollars from the public without any legal authority to sell securities or solicit investments. They are not registered. And if I read the rest of this, I'm going to butcher it. So let's get my reader and go here.
The company appears to be using these illegally obtained funds not only to pursue lawsuits against critics like me, but also to make political donations and buy access to high-profile figures. Christopher Delgado and his associates have leveraged these funds to align themselves with influential names such as Mike Johnson, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, and Eric Trump, using photo opportunities and staged events to project legitimacy and influence.
Yeah, so not only have they given to charities, but they've also gone out to the political arena. Now, I'm not political at all. I just don't get into politics. That's me. But we've seen photos of them doing selfies with, prominent people. We know that he's given your money away if you're an investor to lift his profile. I don't know, I just think that's disgusting myself. So, that's what's happening. So why did I file this motion to dismiss? Well, as you know, I'm an independent journalist. I'm not backed by Bloomberg or the New York Times or Wall Street Journal. But I'm independent. I do it because I'm passionate about, I always say in my videos, I'm here to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. I live in Christchurch, New Zealand. It's a beautiful city to live in. If you look through my YouTube channel, you'll see that I actually did a video showing people my town when I was doing this, getting the signature I needed on the courts. I even went to the New Zealand High Court to get the special stamp from the notary that you needed to do to submit the papers to the Orange County court, and they didn't. There was no one there. I had to go out to the country and find this guy to do all the paperwork for me properly. So it was been a real battle, and it's a bit of a head thing. So I have no legal counsel. I'm doing that. I'm representing myself because I can't afford legal counsel. And I'll tell you a brief story. I won't tell you a brief story. I'll keep going. I don't have a corporate backing or deep pockets. I'm dyslexic. And if you didn't know this, I say it to everyone, no one really believes me. I have a reading and a writing level of a 9-year-old. That means when I read stuff, you can see I really struggle. When I read the words, I don't always take the words in. So I listen to the words and then I understand them. But if I read stuff, I'm reading the words, but I'm not getting the meaning. So sometimes I'll read something and go, oh, that doesn't make sense. But that's why I struggle. So putting together this 22-page motion to dismiss was a real head thing. So let's just read the next paragraph because I lost my
What
way.
I do have is evidence, public information, and the courage to stand up to a company using the court system as a weapon to silence journalism.
Yeah, and we have a large database, and I have a team of Avengers who really help me. My team of Avengers are absolutely amazing. We currently have nearly 700 people in our database, not just with Goliath Ventures, but other people that are promoting Ponzi schemes and scams. We're open source intelligence. We go through everything. We just find wherever. At the moment, we know there's 3 Goliath Ventures corporates who have gone to Dubai. Whether they come home or not, we don't know. But we're watching them, we're monitoring them, we're feeding information to the 6 different government agencies that are investigating this. And we did hear there may be another government agency as well, which was really cool today. But and the investigation has been going on for quite some time. It has actually been going on before we started, which is fantastic. So Goliath Ventures Inc. raised hundreds of millions of dollars, claiming to offer investors 4% return. That's 60% annually. So if you compound your money, that at the end you put 100,000 on, which was the minimum investment, which it wasn't the minimum investment, but they said to people that invested with lower sums that they had to top up to $100,000 from now on, otherwise they didn't want them as investors. So they forced people to have the minimum investment of $100,000. If you leave your money on the table for a year, 60% return. Where does that money come from? Now, we've just had $380 billion lost in one day in crypto, and Christopher claims that he's doing his money, making his money from blockchain technology, whatever that is, and also crypto mining, and also liquidity pools, like on PancakeSwap, like he said when he was on the stage at Patrick Ben-David's 2025 conference. He paid $1 million to stand on that stage and be the naming sponsor for the event, and he gets the mic and already could say he does liquidity training and pancake swaps, and he wants everyone to have a passive income. Mic drop. So that's what he's been doing. But anyway, so that's crazy. 60% return. So what's going to happen? None of these Ponzi schemes go for very long. And so I've heard that, I'm just not going to go into it. So, and he said also 0 risk because everything was insured. 0 risk from crypto investments. No proof of real trading, no verified financials, no external audits. The only audit he did was somebody who worked within the company, and he's a parish, a minister. And we contacted the church he goes to, and they scrubbed his name off the website. Just promises, handshakes, the bros. Anyone who understands finance knows those numbers are mathematically impossible with the 0 risks. What type of investment do you have that is 0 risk? So it's just crazy. So when I questioned this publicly, Goliath Ventures didn't respond with data or transparency. They responded with their lies and lawyers. They filed a lawsuit against me in Orange County. So if you go to the clerk lookup and search for me, I think you can actually do that quite easy, actually, without doing it too complicated. So if I go to Intel, go to Goliath Ventures, Orange County, if you want to have a look at this, you come to their page, you go to search, and then you go case records, and you can just search for Danny, D-A-N-N-Y, no I, and then DHEC, put a space between the D and the H. Well, you don't even need to, I don't think. Click that you're not a robot and go search. And here's my case right here. So when you click on that case, you see this here? So this is my motion to dismiss, 22 pages. It's been filed and it's in the register. Wait until you read these notice of taking dispositions, subpoenas to OpenAI and XAL Corp. And this is the stupid thing. So you can go there and you can keep an idea. So that's why we can do this, and we can go through these documents, because these are, so our motion to dismiss. So if we click on this here, this is our the 22-page motion to dismiss, and you can read it from the link in the description of the website. And then we've put all that argument, well, I say we, but me and my Avengers and I, I've even retracted my own name out of it. But if you come down the bottom here, you see that we've actually got it Fancy Nancy signed, and it's been submitted. We've showed the companies that have been dissolved by Christopher, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's really, really well written. I read it, I've got my name on it, and I'm proud of it. So, and we've sent it through as you do, and I've just realized I didn't put an open new window link on there, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, back here. So go read the motion to dismiss. Okay, so why this lawsuit is another scam? Well, it's a pretty tall statement, isn't it? Florida doesn't have any jurisdiction over me. I don't own any property. I don't have staff. I don't maintain any operations there. My work, every article, video, and post was created in New Zealand for a global audience. So if I've broken any laws, I need to be dealt with in a New Zealand court. And I'll prove that to you as we go down here, because I'm a New Zealander. I'm a New Zealand journalist. I don't live in Florida, and I don't have any connections to any business. In fact, I don't have anything in Florida. So the fact that they think that they can close their company down in Florida and then use Florida law to come after me is even more ridiculous. So it's just another scam. It's intimidation. It's a slap, as they call it in the legal profession. Accessibility isn't the same as targeting. Just because someone in Florida can watch YouTube videos doesn't give them the right to haul a journalist into the courts. I mean, this does what, I'm pretty out there. I was brought up in a religious cult, okay? I used to have people on the stage gaslighting me from the age of 2.5 years of age to 23 years of age. They used to push that religion down my throat. They kicked me out when I stood up to the religion and didn't want to do things their way, right? And these scams that I fight and these people that I chase down are doing the same thing. They are using the suits, the flash cars. They're intimidating you by getting, photos taken with all these celebrities and these big names, and you're too scared to ask the question, can I see the books? One investor come to us and said, I asked them this, that, and this. I said, oh my God, I wish every investor would ask those questions. I said, what happened? And he said, they wouldn't, they couldn't, they're not going to, they might later on, and they weren't interested in talking. They just wanted his money. And he said, I won't tell you what he said because we'll get a rating. But that's what you need to do. Now, I'm a journalist. I monitor scams. It's been said that I'm the biggest scam fighter in Australasia, which is New Zealand, Australia, and Fiji, and all those wee islands. And I've seen this, one look at this. And I started investigating, I started digging into it. And this is a disgusting scam. And I put my reputation, I put my everything into it. I'm allowed to have my own opinion. And I have the facts, I have the paperwork, I have everything to back up this. So, so instead of, what are we going to have to read this part? So, and they didn't even serve me correctly. So I must have jumped a line there. So they haven't served me correctly. Now, this is really important because if you go back to these service documents here, sorry, no service documents, I haven't been served. So if you go into the court record search of Orange County Clerk, look for where it says I have been served. It's not here. There's a reason why that's not here, because they haven't served me correctly. There's other things in here they've done to intimidate me and intimidate people from coming forward. So if you want to provide us information, put your big trousers on, big boy trousers on, and tell us. We will keep your name confidential. And we've done that for so many informants. And thank you so much for doing that. But in here, the actual register, they have not filed that I've been served. In fact, you'll find out soon, they tried to serve me again using what look like court documents that aren't even in here. And they were offering me money to walk away. No deal, as they say. But it's just unreal. Instead of, I have to read it, sorry, but I'm just going to have to read it. But there is this fancy name, and I can't even say the name. I tell you, I have got a reading level 9-year-old, but listen to this.
Under the Hague Service Convention,
Hague Service Convention, international service must go through the New Zealand Ministry of Justice, the central authority. So that's what you got to listen to. Now, Oliver, you look like you're just out of school. That's their lawyer. You can't serve people like you've done it. Now, I've looked this up. I've reviewed this. I've done as much as I can without being a lawyer. I didn't go to law school. In fact, I'm a painter and a decorator by trade. I can't see any jurisdiction for Florida over Christchurch, New Zealand, or New Zealand. In fact, that's what this the Hague Service Convention was all about. So that's why those documents aren't in the Orange County Clerk's database. And that's why I thought I'm going to submit. I could have just ignored it, but I thought, no, I will do a motion to dismiss. I had nothing else to do.
instead, an unidentified man walked into a Christchurch business, dumped papers on a counter, and claimed I'd been served. No credentials, no authorization, no compliance.
So I'm just going to read this next paragraph.
This lawsuit isn't about protecting a reputation, it's about damage control and intimidation.
So they've been stalking me. And a friend of mine, my best friend, I was the best man in his wedding about 6 or 8 months ago. He runs a shop and I work in the shop every now and again. And he was going to Australia, so I had to look after the shop for 5 days. And when I was in there, they served me the papers. And this guy come in, we trespassed him from the shop. Well, it was only me. He trespassed him from the shop. And, but 10 days prior to that, he actually served the papers to my friend. And my friend said, get out of my shop, you're trespassed. And he said, I know who you are. I've been watching you on YouTube, and gave him a big wad of papers. And he took the papers. And then the guy said, oh, can I get some ID? And he goes, no, you can't. You get out of my shop. And he said, but I need to see that you're Danny DeHeck. And he said, well, I'm not Danny DeHeck, but give me the papers back. And he said, no. So my mate had the papers to the court documents. So 10 days later, my mate went to Australia and I had to look after a shop. He was stalking me. He comes into the shop, this guy, and then serves me the papers again. This time, I said, what's your name? Tony. And he didn't even take a photo. He didn't do anything. He didn't ask me for any ID. He'd already mistakenly dropped these papers off. So whatever. Okay, so that's fine. And then the other day, he come in a couple of 3 days ago with some other papers, which I'll show you in a minute. This isn't how you serve people. It was just ridiculous. So it's just intimidation. So I'm not going to go on about it. I think you get the idea. So it's not about protecting a reputation. It's about damage control and intimidation. They're just there to intimidate me. I'm just a YouTuber. I've got very few following. If you want to subscribe, it'd be a good time to subscribe right now. I even give you a little wee button to remind you how to do it. You click on these things here, see, subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when a new video drops, as they say. Alrighty, so who's behind Goliath Ventures then? Well, it's this little wee guy called Christopher Diego, who we have heard from reliable sources he can blow 6 figures on a night's entertainment with alcohol. But anyway, let's read about him so you know who he is.
At the center of all this is Christopher Delgado, the self-proclaimed founder and face of Goliath Ventures Incorporated. Delgado promotes himself as a visionary investor and philanthropist. But behind his party boy branding sits a company now being investigated by 6 US law enforcement agencies.
Yes, 6. And another, I think we might have a double up, but it's a different region. But anyway, we've now got potentially somebody else from another area or another state, which is quite cool. So so now, why is that interesting? Why is that interesting? Because now somebody said to me the other day, I shouldn't really have a go at people who work in places like In-N-Out Burger. Now, it's not meant to be like that. It's just that, so I'm a tradesman, I'm a painter and a decorator, and I get it. I'm not having a go at anyone that works in the food industry. I'm just saying that Christopher claims he's a raving success and invested in Bitcoin, and now he looks like he's a gazillionaire. None of these guys that I see, the guy with the spinning bottle, we found out he's not worth a brass razoo, but he gets to go everywhere because he's an influencer, whatever. But what I'm saying here about Christopher is he used to work at In-N-Out Burger, not a corporate environment, and he got fired from In-N-Out Burger, meaning he couldn't even keep a job that potentially isn't that complicated. When I say that, he's not running the country working at In-N-Out Burger. And the other thing, then he was selling teeth whitening strips. There's even videos still on the internet now. And even the lady that used to do his marketing has been on the planes and going for joyrides with him. So he's gone from In-N-Out Burger flipping things, working for Grant Cadell, I can't even say his name, but Grant Cadone. I think you know who I mean. Hope you do anyway. And then he went to teeth whiteners, and then 3 years ago, I think he had his first 5 million. But then we found out that it was all connected to another scam, and people and other things we've done, we've shown you that there's another one called My Liquidity Partners, and that was a scam. One guy got sentenced 2 years in prison, and we've got a photo of Christopher, the 2-year in prison guy, and also Nick, his current business partner, theoretically. So they're all and Nick's been accused of doing another crime. We've got all the documents. We've done all the videos. This is, I forget what number. I think this is number 14 blog. We have exposed this company to an inch of its life. So thank you. Thanks, Susie. See you in there. Nice to the people in the chat room too. And I am reading the messages, but I've been mulling this one over all day long today, and it's actually been a bit of a nasty day. So I'm not reading the messages, but I do hear them coming in. So thanks very much. It's awesome. Okay, so let's just read this and get on with it.
He's the same individual accused by numerous former investors and insiders of operating what is obviously high-yield Ponzi investment scheme, promising impossible returns while using new investor money to sustain earlier payouts. Instead of answering questions or producing audited proof of his company's activities, Delgado has turned to lawyers to silence critics, including me. This lawsuit isn't just his defense, it's his new advertisement campaign.
We do feel that this is all an advertisement. I don't know why you do it yourself. And when they literally have tried to pay me off, it's unreal. And, you know, I'm not intimidated by the lawyers, but I'll be honest, you know, like I sit here, it is like 20 to 12 at night on, I think, Friday night. I've been working for like, I don't know, since 7:30 in the morning. And I've been thinking about doing this since then. It's exhausting. I wake up in the morning and I have to write back to either Trustpilot to get another review removed. I've got 5 websites at the moment. I have to show you something. This is the sort of shit that I get. I actually found out that I had a bit of a victory the other day. But these are people that set up these websites to expose me. So first of all, hold it, maybe later. Oh, no, that's nothing. Oh, let's go here. So somebody set up a website called Danny DeHeck Facts. And in here, it's telling people that I used to be a big promoter of OneCoin, right? So I can write to everyone all day long. People go, oh, why don't you write to such and such and get that taken off? And I go, I could do, but I kind of need a life. And it takes time. And I write to them. And they go, oh, you need a police letter, or you'll need a court case to get that one removed. And you go, oh, it's in the too hard, but I'll just leave it. It doesn't really care. This is another one. This is set up by the last guy that tried to sue me. He's offered me $5,000 if I take down his videos. You know, so we'll show you about him. But he set this up. And how do I know he set this up? Well, he's offered me $5,000, and he said, and I'll take down fakejournalist.net. So we took the website down without his help. Thanks very much. And now we set up a new one called Danny DeHeck. I didn't even know how he'd done that. But anyway, so and he's also bought some fake survivors, whatever. He's got 7,000 subscribers with 6 videos. He should come do my marketing. But, you know, all these are here.
Animals. Bottom. feeders.
They're just there to, I don't know what they're there, but people, like, this is all new. So this one here has been, this has gone on yesterday. So I haven't even seen this one, but here's another one. So this is DannyDeHecky.com. So it's Danny DeHeck with two E's at the end. Pretty cool, eh? But you can come in here, and these were on the last photo. So these are the photos that people put out about me. And look, there's my logo. I might make that. But what is this? What is this? Here I am here talking about him. This is the last video I did just yesterday. So he must be really pissed off. Danger, immediate risks. But people read this and they go, oh, this is true and factual. And I go, oh yeah, whatever. But, we'll get these taken down, but I haven't got all day to do it. Next one, what have we got here? Danny DeHeck Facts. He set these up originally, I think. Could be the same guy. But, along with copyright strikes and, I spend all my day, right? So this one was quite funny. This is called Danny DeHeck Facts .hashnode.development. And I looked at these the other day and I thought, oh, why don't they just take these down? And then I realized that when you click on them, oh no, that one works. All the pictures have gone down because I have to explain that the pictures are mine and they've breached privacy and copyright. And then they take the pictures down. Then you have to go back and say, oh, don't forget about the words. This used to have 19 articles and now I've got 3 left. And I have to go, it's just exhausting. This guy here, if you look up this guy, he's been done for animal cruelty. We believe this is actually the real guy. He doesn't like me for some reason. Well, yesterday he had 12 videos. Now we've managed to, he had 10 videos and we've got 6 of them removed. Do you know what they did? They removed them from my view because I'm a New Zealander. And the privacy rules in New Zealand says that he's not allowed to do what he's doing. So they'll block them from my view. But no doubt if you went here, you'd be able to see them. Isn't that crazy? Fighting back against the bully. They call me a bully because they don't like me stopping these scams, and it's just, so I'm not against it. I'm a big boy. I'm not sitting here going boo-hoo, woe is me. Oh my God, I'm a YouTuber. And I said this about such and such. And I researched such and such about such and such. And I've just gone to town. Today, we actually had a young fella who was 23 years of age who had invested in a scam, and he made $2,500 in 1 month, doubled his money. And the guy that got him into it had a secret name. I just managed to find his full name, his photo, his phone number. I've just sent an email off to the FMA. I found their new website that they've set up. This guy wanted to get his money out. He couldn't get it out. We had an Avenger who managed to get his money out. He said to me, out of his $2,500 that he put in, he got $1,700 back. So the additional money that he made, he used that money to top up. And he said, I think he was 150 up on the deal. I said, look, it's not a problem as long as you're not taking out all the money. You know what I mean? He just can't take. He's got out what he put in basically, but it was so complicated to get his money out. He was amazed. I was amazed. But that's a new blog coming out. We research things. We've got people, the Terminator can take down websites. Not every website, but a big majority of the websites. They're now using my articles to go to the domain name registrars and the hosting companies. And because I'm a journalist, I get some clout. My articles stand for something. My reputation is good. And every day I get better at it. So subpoenas for my private data. Now imagine this. So their tactics, this is their lawyers and this is the tactic, and it's really important to think about this. Their tactics go beyond false filing. Goliath's lawyers also submitted 2 separate requests to Orange County Clerk demanding access to my personal data. Now listen to this. OpenAI and XAI, which is Glurk, what do they call that? Twitter's, I've forgotten what they call it, but it's their version of the AI. So they've subpoenaed, theoretically asked the courts for the right to subpoena my personal search data. And in these articles, they have done, this is to silence you. If you're thinking of coming forward, don't come forward because they're going to get Danny's search records. And look, at the bottom of this, they name all the individuals, all the search terms they want the data on. And they're doing this to intimidate people who are thinking about coming forward. And They're alleging that these people have been giving us, these people have been giving us intel. So they've just made up a list of everyone that they think they've probably seen on my, what do they call it, persons of interest list, and put all their names down here. Even like this one here is really funny. What's his name? Casey Holiday?
Casey Holiday.
Yeah, so he's no longer on the website anymore. They've taken his name off it. So that's what they've done. So imagine that. I just can't get over that. And there's no way in hell they're going to get that personal data. But if you've been following it and you've been looking at these files, you're going to go, oh, look at that. They've requested his data. They're not going to get my data. But if you're thinking about giving me information, you might think, oh, I better stay away from Danny because Danny might have all his personal data given over to someone in a civil court case. For God's sake, I just couldn't believe that was their tactics. I mean, you've got to give it to Oliver, who's just out of school lawyer. What a joke. I've never seen anything so stupid. So, as I said, I'm not legal, but I know that's not right. And this is the stupid thing. So let's read that to get
The tactics go beyond false filings. Goliath's lawyers also submitted 2 separate requests to the Orange County clerk, demanding access to my personal data from OpenAI and Zay, formerly Twitter. These subpoenas asked for my search history, communications, and internal records, something no civil court should ever entertain.
Oh my God. So I just, I listen to that and I think, oh my goodness, Oh my goodness! So I've got some messages coming in here. Better make sure I read it. Thank you. That's really nice. Permission to land. I think they'll know which person they are. All right.
Even more concerning, the subpoenas included names of individuals they appear to believe have provided me information, people I've never publicly identified. They are grasping at straws, trying to guess who might be communicating with me, hoping to expose or intimidate anyone they think could be helping my investigation. That's not a request for evidence. It's a scare tactic.
I think it's just disgusting. And as I've said in many of my videos, we do have a persons of interest list. So I'm just going to put this up here. So this is my database. And what we do is we go into persons of interest. Now, I think we have about 700 people. So if you go to about here, and you scroll up you can see I've got heaps of people. So just because your name's in here doesn't mean you're guilty of anything. It just means that you're connected to somebody. But a lot of people in here are actually, in my opinion, guilty. But anyway, if you go into Goliath Ventures, you'll see that I've still got 15 people to add. But in here, you can see that we've got quite a big list. And I put this on the screen all the time. So their lawyers have come through here, grabbed all these names, like Nadia Lavin Bringus, whatever, and we've got people in here like Matt Burke, for example. So we go into Matt Burke, and here he is. Wonder if it's still here.
Our lives is we think, maybe if I can just be a little bit better Christian, if I could just follow it, just do this one thing that I'm doing, if I could just stop doing that. I had this.
So this is your independent auditor. He's a parish, and that's him on the stage doing a sermon to people. But he was meant to be able to audit a company that allegedly gave $100 million, his words, not mine, $100 million away in 2024 in dividends. So he's done an audit. And he's the founder of a company called Black Block, not to be mistaken for Black Rock, because that's a proper company. And then now Black Block is merged into Goliath Ventures. The same Goliath Ventures that has closed their company down in Florida on the 3rd of September 2025. Brace yourself, guys. Christopher Diego thought it was a good idea to close the company down in Florida. So all those contracts that you've got with Goliath Ventures Inc. on it are all meant to be done and dusted. They are not worth that. You might as well wipe your ass on them. And here's your independent auditor. But so here, these are the photos. This is Matt Burke and his lovely wife. We've got everything. We've got, what else we've got in here that might be interesting? But, he's part of 3 companies, Wealth MD, My Wealth MD, Black block and Goliath Ventures. So you come into Wealth MD. We've also got, you won't be able to see that one, but we've found that 500 companies are associated with these people. I think there's 2. So we've got, we've got all their PowerPoint presentations in here. They were claiming they're not, they were watching all their words. And at the very end, they were telling everyone not to say that they were doing financial services. And then when you get to the very bottom, the last page here, it's all about financial services. So they just contradict themselves. These guys are in so deep as shit. I have never seen anything like this. And this will be, hopefully I get bigger scams to bust than this one. But as I've always said, these guys are going to fall on their own sword because their own documents, you wouldn't have seen this, but we just go back to this one. Here's one agreement, right? And this is called Wealth MD, and this is targeting retirement fund money. And in here, this is exactly the same as their other contracts. However, this one, the minimum investment is $250,000, and the monthly return is 2%, not 4%, not 3%, not 8%, 2%. You know why? Because this is literally a white label service of Goliath Ventures contract, but they repackaged it. And guess who's behind this one? Matt Burke as well. And there's other founders as well. But this was a word for word contract with different figures on it. And they were basically white labeling their services. So this is just ridiculous. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And I've never seen anything so funny in a way. But yeah, come after the journalist has exposed you. The game is up, Christopher. Now, did we read this one? I hope we haven't read it because I don't like reading things too. I'm going to have to read it. Make sure we don't
Even more concerning, the subpoenas included names of individuals they appear to believe have provided me information.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate that. They've put names in there because I've seen them on my screen. And as I say, just because your name's there doesn't mean you're guilty. Just means you're somebody of interest. You might have taken a joyride flight to Mykonos or something. Hey, Romy. Oh, my goodness. And the intel that we get after we highlight somebody's name is quite good.
Yes, anyone can file such subpoenas, but that doesn't mean the court will grant them. These requests are baseless and intrusive, and they will be denied. Their purpose isn't legal, it's psychological. Filing them sends a signal. We're watching you. That's pure intimidation.
Yeah, these are all intimidation. Don't be intimidated by these people. They'll be locked up. I mean, Tomo, he's going to be if he comes back from Dubai, he'll be locked up. Christopher Delgado, can't even get his name right now, he'll be locked up. Alex, you're going to be locked up. Matt Burke, you're going to be locked up. Piers Curry, you're going to be locked up. And anyone else that's hanging around them should be sweating. Yes. $150 bribe offer. You'll be interested to know about this one. You will not believe this. They have offered me $150,000 to stop doing my videos. What would happen if Danny thought, oh, that's quite good. I might take that. It will get clawed back. And not that I thought about taking that money, but isn't this ridiculous? Now, this has got to take the cake. You cannot beat this offer. Now, we just have to read this because I'll go off on a tangent and I'm trying not to and I want to go to bed. But listen to this.
On October 16th, 2025, attorney Oliver Berman from Pearlman, Bajandis, Yeverley and Albright PL sent me a document titled Response to Settlement Overture.
Right. Now, I'll be transparent here because that's what I do. They emailed it to me, right? And we ignored it. And next minute, they're trying to get it served to me like a legal document with, like when you get served. Unreal. It's unreal. And we just have to carry on because this is amazing. So we'll show you the document in a wee while and hopefully I can read the words on it because it's just unreal.
The letter claimed that someone had emailed Goliath on my behalf, offering to take down all my reporting for $150,000 in Bitcoin. I had never seen or heard of that individual. It was a fabricated story designed to make me look corrupt, and they used it as a pretext to try and pay me off.
Unreal. This is unreal. Okay, so the letter, when we opened it, had a disclaimer: confidential settlement communication, and then they quoted some law. And as I said, I'm not a lawyer, so you might read that as a lawyer and go, "Oh, it's very serious, very serious." Ooh. Federal Rule of Evidence and New Zealand Evidence Act 2006. Okay, you've used the big words, but it's not a legal document. So that heading made it appear legitimate while shedding threats. Oh, no, I got to read it.
Shielding the threats it contained from public scrutiny.
Yeah, so if you weren't sharp enough, but this ain't my first rodeo. I've had my share of legal documents on the wall. Meeny, tiki, parson. Look up the meaning of that. Okay, what did it
Here's what the letter demanded.
Okay, depending on your willingness to agree to these demands, Goliath will entertain a monetary component in your favour. This is what they wrote to me. Translation, we'll pay you to shut up. I don't want stolen money. Okay, everybody? I've had offers and I've refused all of them. And I seriously have. And I do ask for donations, and you're more than welcome to donate to me with buy me a cup of coffee. I will take any amount of money. Make it anonymous. Put your name on it if you want to support me. I really need the money at the moment. But I'm not going to take stolen money. I'm not going to take dividends. I got one guy that rang up and told me that I saved him $500,000. He said he'd only made $9,000, but he doesn't want the money, and he wanted to give it to me. And I said, I don't want the money either. and then I said, can we see your contract? And then all of a sudden it got a bit strange. He started acting like we were the enemy. I don't want to give you the contract. My name's not on the contract. My father's name's on the contract. Okay, then why can't we get a copy of the contract? I don't want you to see the contract. What we sort of figured out is that the name on the contract was a company name who borrowed the money. And he had control of the money, but he probably didn't have the right to use the company money that he's just one of the members in. Used the money. That's what we imagine. We could be wrong, but that's what it looked like. Anyway, so we've researched that guy and put him in our persons of interest list because he was actually thanking us that we saved him $500,000. And then he started telling us we didn't know what we were talking about. And he didn't want the $9,000 he took out. Anyway, let's not go there. All right, so let's have a look at this letter. All right, hopefully you can read it. I have actually got it. Oh, no, we can read it. Oh, good. All right, so here we are. So, I don't know if we can read it. I think we've got to read it. Oh, we can read it. So this is exciting. So this is the letter that they haven't filed on the court system, delivered it to me a couple of 3 days ago in person. We trespassed the guy who delivered the first lot, and we trespassed him again. I was videoing him and told him that you were trespassed the other day if you don't get out of the shop. They were stalking me. They stalked me in the shop. I was in the shop for half an hour, maybe even 20 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, and this guy turned up to deliver this letter to me. And at the top of the letter, you can see it's got this sort of legal tone to it, like it was a subpoena letter and he was being issued by the courts to drop it off. It was bullshit, because this isn't even listed on the court register, nothing to do with the court. This is actually delivered from Goliath Ventures lawyers. Anyway, I went outside and I looked around for the guy. I went out the back door, around the car park, looked for him everywhere, and then I saw him getting in his car. Because he said his name was Tony, I stood in front of his car. And this has got me upset. I stood in front of his car and I was videoing him, and I said, what is your name? Because I wanted to trespass him. He put his foot on the accelerator. My knees were against the car and I was in the front of the car, and I said, I was holding the camera. I said, what is your name? And he went to drive over me. And I thought, oh my God. So I moved out of the way. He just kept moving the car forward. I should have fallen over in front of the road. I actually think I felt like he would have driven over me. And then I managed to grab his wiper, bent that a little bit, and let go as he drove off. This isn't a court-appointed server. It wasn't even a server. It was somebody given a few $100 to stalk me, find me, and deliver this piece of paper. So that's one thing. But this piece of paper, it's worth its weight in gold. Listen to what they say.
Mr. D. Heck, on October 13th, 2025, a client received an unsolicited email from a third party purporting to represent your interests in resolving the pending litigation against you. One, we are writing you and copying Goliath's New Zealand Litigation Counsel to determine if this is a legitimate communication on your behalf. If this email is legitimate, Goliath, as any active litigant, is willing to explore good faith efforts to amicably resolve the current and future litigation against you, if a resolution can be reached quickly. Goliath is willing to seek a resolution where you are not required to compensate Goliath for the millions of dollars in damages your posts have caused, nor consent to a judgment for those damages if you are unable to pay same too.
Right. Here's this. They're trying to negotiate with me. Oh, yay. You heard it here. This gets worse. So I'm glad. I'm not glad, but like, I don't want to lose anyone's money, but I don't want anyone else to lose money either. But anyway, this is total fabrication. I have not written to them, but I did contact the New Zealand lawyers after this, and I said to them that you need to research the company that you're representing. So I rang up because I don't have legal counsel. I didn't know you can't ring up their lawyers. So I rang up their lawyers and go, "Hi, it's Danny de Heck here. Oh, she's not here at the moment. Can I get her to ring you back?" And I go, no. I'll ring back. When will she be there? 10 minutes. So I ring up and I get this lawyer just listening to me. And I go, "I want you to research the company that you're representing here in New Zealand. I'm a Kiwi, you're a Kiwi." And I said, "What I want you to do, I want you to find out whether the company that you're working for, Goliath Ventures Inc., is actually a registered company. Because if you were representing the courts in Florida, I would be checking it." Just, Kiwi to Kiwi, no worries. So she said, very unusual. And I said, and also the person that you used to serve those documents tried to run me over in the car park. Can you make it very clear that he has trespassed for the second time? The next time this guy stalks me for 10 days, waiting for me to turn up in a shop, I will call the police and have them left the premises. And so that's what happened anyway. So that's just full transparency there. Anyway, it was nice. That was nice. She's just doing her job, but she didn't really give a shit. Because what I think's happening here, they're just connected to them and they just want to have their hands on a New Zealand lawyer. I don't know what they planned. But this, would you put your name behind this?
In light of Goliath's current willingness to entertain a resolution structured to forego recovery of some or all of its damages, or, in the alternative, the entry of a consent judgment for such amount, Goliath will not negotiate on its demand for any resolution to include your identification of all third parties who provided you with any assistance whatsoever, including without limitation, financial, informational and/or documentational, and 2, production of any writings regarding same.
Now, I don't even understand what that just said. And to be honest, this is the first time I've actually read it. I read the last page 3 and 4 stuff more. But anyway, let's have a wee listen.
Goliath's operations are completely legitimate, and if you choose to participate in the lawsuit and defend yourself,
Yes.
as you claim on your website you intend to do,
Rules.
you will discover all the information provided to you is false. Goliath is only engaging in these communications to avoid continued defamation and have clarity on who has been paying you and providing you with the false information that you seem to be relying upon. Therefore, to settle the pending lawsuit and...
Right. Just to be clear, no one pays me to go after people. No one. I have not been paid to go after anybody. But on my website, perfectly clear, you can actually contribute. Now, that might not sound right to some people, but if you go to deheck.com, I don't hide what I do. And if you go to support me and you go to Ko-Fi, you can see here, oh, look at that. I've got, somebody's donated to me and I haven't thanked them, but Fund 10 Full Scam Investigations. I've 73% there. And what it does, I normally charge a couple $100 to investigate a scam. And so far, I've nearly got $2,000. Now, this is not from Goliath Ventures. This is from people who just pay me to do scam investigations. I normally write a blog. So if you went to my website, make sure you go to the one with the .com, not the .co. If you come down here, just before I went live today, I put this other blog online, which I'm going to do a video about tomorrow. So this guy in the photo here is a New Zealander. And that's also him in the dartboard. And this is the comp plan. And this is the pyramid. And that's me cup. I didn't put my logo on the cup. But anyway, if you go through here, you'll find a blog that has really gone deep into what this particular company here, for example, has been mentioned by the FMA in New Zealand and struck off as a company not welcome here in New Zealand and all that sort of carry on. They have over 200 different domain names. We've just discovered that they are back online again. We've found their new website, their new branding. We've found their multi-level marketing component. We've found their fake corporation certificate of incorporation, their stamps, who they claim has registered the company, all the stuff here. This is what I normally do. And that's what I did for Goliath. But now with Goliath, that's a very interesting case. We've actually set up a whole area on Goliath Ventures on the website. And you can come in here and you can read everything that we know. We update this page regularly. This is given to reporters, investigators like me, influencers like me, whatever. You can go and read all about it. And everything in here, like these photos here. Remember I said Christopher's money's from... Christopher's money's from my liquidity partners. Well, that guy with the glasses on, I don't even see me moving my mouse. Yes, you can. He got sentenced 2 years in prison. For somehow he got his passport back and now he's living in Dubai and hasn't served any time. Nick's been around. This photo was taken 3 years ago. They registered a company called My Liquidity Partners. The domain name was registered 20 days apart. We've got the data. 20 days apart. So we believe that Goliath Ventures Inc. isn't an original. It's a copycat scam of My Liquidity Partners. And these people here 3 years ago took this photo. So all this stuff right through here. And if you come down here enough, you can see that today's blog, yesterday's blog, you know, we counted a round of drinks. We reckon he spent $32,000 on a round of drinks. That's what we could add up by counting the bottles he's got. But, you know, that's what I'm saying is, yeah, but let's carry on. So... okay, so we're carrying on here. So that's what we've got. So Exhibit A. Now this gets better. Let's have a wee listen here. You ready for this, guys? There's a true and correct copy of this email was attached as Exhibit 1. So making it sound like it's a court document when it's just a straight-out bribe. Goliath reserves the right to change its position on the illusion of damage. I can't even read that. These too big a word.
Goliath reserves the right to change its position on the inclusion of damages at its sole discretion.
Alrighty. So cool. So this is what they're saying. They must have thought, oh, this guy's a YouTuber. He's doing his YouTube channel for money. He'll take 150 grand. We'll pay him off. We'll get rid of all the videos. That didn't work. We'll start doing copyright strikes against his YouTube channel. Oh, that didn't work. What are you going to do next, guys? Oh,
Attorneys at law the other lawsuits that will be filed in New Zealand. Goliath demands that you...
Right, they demand that I do this. This is what their fake or looks like a legal letter says.
Immediately provide Goliath through its US and New Zealand counsel with a list of names of people who paid you and or provided you with any documentation or information including a description of what information was provided. To be clear, we already know of one such person and plan to file a lawsuit against him shortly.
Oh, right. Okay, more threats for people who are reading this, more listening. So what? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So you think we've got one person feeding us and you think we've been paid to do what we're doing. Well, you're incorrect. I got told about this and I investigated with my Avengers and we were amazed that this has got so much traction and it's very hard to stop. However, we've done a bloody good job so far.
Regarding the people identified in number 1 above, all documentation regarding same, including without limitation payment records, emails, text messages, and other forms of electronic communications. If you have...
Look, I just want to say something before we carry on, because this is my moment to shine. What they're actually asking us to do is to hand over people that have given us information. Why did these guys just not hand over their books? Why did they not actually ask and be transparent what we asked for? We asked them to prove that they had crypto mining. We asked them to give us the smart contract addresses. We asked them to give us wallet addresses where they're doing the money. We've got all the crypto addresses that they have. We've got every single one of them. We only tracked $2.5 million. We've asked some of the biggest crypto investigators on the planet to investigate these crypto wallets. You know what they found? Nothing. Nothing substantial. Nothing for this amount of money. Nothing. You know, if you're watching a Bloomberg documentary and there's a guy sitting there with a scarf over his face and he's talking through here and he's with a voice changer on, so are the guys that we've got researching Christopher's crypto wallets. They will find a hare and a donkey at 200 kilometers away. We've got the best. Our Avengers are amazing. These guys could have just handed us the transparency. But instead, they've come after a journalist. Freedom of speech. Isn't that what America's all about? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying?
If you have deleted any such documentation, an affidavit stating such, and providing a third-party, IT recovery expert access to the devices to explore recovery of said documents, Goliath will bear the cost of any such recovery expert.
What the F is this? What the F is this, guys? Oliver, what nut job are you? You're a friggin' idiot. I wouldn't hire you to mop my floors, let alone represent me. This is the type of caliber of shit that you deliver for your customers. You had spelling mistakes in your filed papers with the courts. Even I don't have spelling mistakes and I can't spell. What sort of imbecile, what nut job would actually put this in writing?
Take down all posts about Goliath and make a public apology stating that you were paid to post that information by people who you now realize were providing you with false information.
I realised they were providing me fake information. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I still can't get over this. I haven't actually listened to this, but I have read it, but I skim over the words sometimes. I'm actually blown away with these 5 things. They want me to hand over my whistleblower's information and give it to them so that they don't answer the questions we're all answering, but they silence the whistleblowers. This is intimidation. That's all it is.
You will need to sign a settlement agreement containing common terms, including, without limitation, release, and non-disparagement provisions. If you violate the non-disparagement provision, you must agree to a consent judgment entered in the appropriate forum in New Zealand and the US in the amount of $5 million US dollars.
Oh my God, that's intimidation. I don't want to be sued $5 million. Look, I've got nothing. And you know, the real good thing about having nothing, you can't stop me. You can't stop me. Well, you can. But really, what do I do this for? Because I was brought up in a religion that gaslighted me and told me how to live my life. 2 people in my family died by suicide. 2 people. My sister, who's 2 years older than me, took her own life when she was 36 years of age. My stepfather, Robert D. Heck, at the age of 36, he was probably bipolar. Now I look back. The Erebus crash in New Zealand, Erebus crash, it set him into a world of depression. My mum tried to stop him driving off. She laid behind the car. Bit like the guy that's trying to run me over the other day. Maybe that's my flashback. And he said, if you don't get out from under the car, I'm going to drag you inside and lock you in the house. My mum moved. He drove off. A bunch of school kids found my stepfather, who drank a bottle of whiskey out of the milk bottle and gassed himself in the car. He was 36 years of age. He died on the 3rd of December. My sister was 2 years older than me, so she was 11, I was 9. I remember when the elders from the church came around and told me that my father had died. My stepfather, he was only, my real father drank himself to death and smoked himself to death, and he was an alcoholic, right? So I remember sitting on the elder's knee, which you don't do these days. Trust me, it's not a good thing to sit on a Jehovah's Witness's knee, but that's a different story. But anyway, nothing happened to me. I don't think so. Anyway, and I remember making myself cry when I lost because I didn't know how to react. My mum was so distraught, so upset that she didn't even take my sister and myself to the memorial. They have memorials that don't have funerals. So for years, I lived thinking that my father could have turned up any time because I never had any closure. And now everyone knows all about it, right? Because I was only 9, my sister was 11. My sister, it really affected her. And I love my sister. And, you know, she got involved in heroin, drugs, the whole 9 yards. And we were close. And she got quite violent at some stage. So I had to sort of, I watched my sister probably 50 times try to take her own life. One time she cut herself 50 stitches and 27 stitches up the arms, and she survived. Another time she drove her car into her house and then rang me up to help. Her friend was beating her up. So I went around and saw that out. Next minute I'm in a police car on the way to the hospital. They both cut their wrists. You know, I remember dragging her into the car once because she'd cut her wrist again. She'd poisoned herself so many times. I'd go visit her in hospital. She had charcoal all around her mouth. So the last 2 years of my sister's life were just, she got violent to the family and we had to cut her off. She was in Sunnyside, which is one of our mental hospitals. And then at the age of 36 years of age, on the 3rd of December, she actually was on 15-minute suicide watch and she took her own life by hanging herself on the window ledge with her belt. She died at the same age on the same day as my stepfather. And I've always maintained that the religion that we were part of made it incredibly hard for people to live up to the expectations that that religion put on people. That religion was everything for me. And it was a battle for me to get out of it, because when I left the religion, I lost everything. My mother doesn't have anything to do with me because out of love, she doesn't have anything to do with me because she's hoping that I'll come back to the religion. She's now got Parkinson's, a whole 9 years. And I don't know why I'm telling this story, but I remember going around to my mum's place once and I said, look, Mum, is it possible for us to have because Mum and I are really close. And I said, is it possible for Mum and I, for us to have a relationship and just don't mention the religion? And she said, oh, I love the religion. I love Jehovah. And I said to my mum, I said, look, Mum, I could have died. I could have died. And she said, at least you'd get a resurrection. I couldn't believe it. I did record the conversation because it was one of the last times I ever going to see my mum and have a proper conversation with her. So, my mum would rather me die by suicide than to have a relationship with me and not mention religion. So I hate, well, I don't know if it's a hate, but I don't have any time for the religion. I don't hate my mum, but the religion destroys families. The religion kills relationships. My religion that I was part of kills relationships. It's destroyed my family. I don't have anything normal. I don't have any kids. I have nothing. And, and then when I've always been quite giving. I ran social clubs. I've given back to the community. I've been a Rotarian. I did try to get into volunteer firemen. I was part of the target shooting community. I love being part of communities. I used to be in Toastmasters for 10 years, and I owned a business networking company. I mean, I went to the courts to sign some papers, and the guy that the justice of the peace that signed some other court case I've got, which looks like I've won, by the way, is a guy. I go, Ralph, what are you doing here? I said, and Ralph, I went to national speakers, and I knew the guy that was signing the papers. I said, what are you doing? Like, we're old mates, and here I am. I'm driving out Rangiora, which is about 25 minutes away from where I live. And I'm driving down the road and there's Trevor walking two dogs. The two dogs, one of them is the sister of Pixel, my dog, and the other one's the same mum and dad, but a different litter. We bump into people around Christchurch, and I'm actually really well liked. People like me. And I've got a small community, strong community, faithful community, and I've got the same going on with the Avengers. But my point of telling you all this is I am one hell of a sin. I hate what that religion's done to my family, and I don't want anyone else to go through that as well. Young fella, 23 years of age, took out all his money from, what's that thing called? They put sharesies, put it all into a Ponzi scheme. He said, I was saving that. I'm only young. I said, but I'm going to start saving so I can buy myself a house. I said, you put it all into a Ponzi scheme. We managed to get his money back. He was so grateful. And also, we've got somebody to go after who got him into it. And I'll do my best. Now, I've spent hours on everything today. It is now 20 past 12 at night. What I'm saying, guys, is these stupid lawyers' letters, these friggin' wealthy people who think they can intimidate me. I've had a very hard life. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I'm a warrior. I'm in the trenches fighting these guys. I will take the fight on. And I've got other people who help me. And you can't intimidate us. It's tiring. It hurts. I find it hard sometimes. And this is a fight of a life because I don't have the money. I don't have the flash lawyers, but I don't have stupid lawyers who write crap like this. Let's continue.
Depending on your willingness to agree to these demands, Goliath will entertain a monetary component in your favor based on the time and misinformation you have received.
Now, I gave this documents to a few people and I said, what are they going on about? Because as I said, I don't read very well. And they said, they're offering you 150 grand. I said, they're not, are they? What would they do that for? This is the stupid part. And this is not meant to be on the internet, by the way, because this is an official court document. That's what they made out. This is a piece of toilet paper. This shouldn't be on the internet. This shouldn't be on written material. It's ridiculous.
Reservation of rights. Nothing herein is intended to limit, waive, restrict, or otherwise alter any of Goliath's rights and or remedies under any applicable agreement, at law, and or in equity, and same are hereby expressly reserved and preserved. This letter is not a settlement agreement, and the terms contained herein are subject to us agreeing to the form and substance of a written settlement agreement.
Oh my God. So here we go. Now wait, get yourself a cup of tea, put me on pause, and watch this next stuff. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It is ridiculous. Exhibit 1. So just so happens we've got a guy and his email is stopdeheck@protonme. All right. So if you want to email that guy and ask him if he's a good mate of me, I would love to know. Mine. Stopping Danny DeHeck. Now, for a start, if this was me, and this could be our psychological moment, but I don't spell my name with capital D, E. It's lowercase d, E, space, capital H, E, K. That's how I spell my name. So this letter has not been written by me, nor do I have any of my mates who are stupid, because my mates are cool, good guys. They're not like the bro brother, like you see these guys on these yachts and all this sort of carry on. They're my mates. They've got my back. They will loan me money. They will help me. One of my mates, when we was really finding it hard financially, he basically employed me. I don't think I was very good at working because I've worked for myself for 30 years. I'm not used to being an employer, but my mate stood by me. He believes me. He supports me. And it's nothing like that. And these friggin' Ponzi schemes destroy families. They kill relationships. And that's what this is what I'm all about, because I know that how important it is to have those relationships and friendships in your life. When I got kicked out of the religion at the age of 23, I lost my business. I was a painter and a decorator. My business partner was a Jehovah's Witness. I said, you have the business, I'll walk away. So I lost my business. I moved out of my apartment because it was just better to get on with it. And so I lost, I had to find somewhere else to live. And I was living in an apartment, literally, all you rich mother out there, my bedroom was like 2.2 wide and 3 meters long, and I had a double bed in it. So I used to go into my room to climb on my bed. I had a very small room. But my new mate that I just, who owned a nightclub, said that if I work in the email centre, Christchurch's first internet cafe, he would let me stay in this place free of charge. And I said, deal. So that's my new life. But I lost all my friends I grew up with, because everyone I grew up with was in a community of Jehovah's Witnesses. So I lost everything. And I had to start over, Anyway, I'm getting a bit, so friendships are everything. And it's taken me a long time to build up a great network and a great friendship. So when I see people destroying them over money, I hate it. And I'll help people I'll help people. And,
Hello there, Chris. I'm not sure if you watched Danny's video today on you, but he looked a little defeated. I am personal friends of Danny here in New Zealand and helped him in the beginning on Goliath.
No one has helped me with Goliath in New Zealand. No one. No one.
So long story short, he called me like an hour ago after his live broadcast, and I could tell he is very beaten up. Mate, if I were to sit with him and tell him to let it go, remove all posts and even issue an apology and make it public, he would. I was his mentor that he mentioned a few times in his videos about you. We actually briefly spoke about letting it all go on Sunday night, but he will need my support and convincing to make it all go away. If I go by his house tomorrow or Thursday and sit down with him, everything will be gone by Monday. He wants to move on, but he needs that push. That push is me.
Who says I live in a house? Just saying. You figure it out yourself. Okay, so you got that? What do you think so far, guys? Does that sound like something that you would entertain as a lawyer?
So here is my offer. $50,000 up front, $100,000 once all posts are down, and he issues public apology. If he chooses not to, I will send the $50,000 back. However, I am absolutely certain he will.
Right, absolutely certain. All right, so somebody might want to look up that crypto wallet address, see if it's connected to me. And I do have a crypto wallet address in the description for people who want to give donations. I haven't checked to see if it's the same one, but it doesn't look familiar and I'm good with figures. Okay.
Since you are a Bitcoin miner, here is my BTC address to send the $50,000. Once received, I will update you daily.
I didn't read that. Since you're a Bitcoin miner. Oh my God, that's quite funny. I didn't realize that. That's so funny. So remember that? Because he's a Bitcoin miner. If you go to the website, Christopher's made, see, he's a miner. Bitcoin mining, liquidity pools. That's how he's made all this money. But he'll know all about it. This can be all over soon. Because since you're a Bitcoin miner, never saw that, sent with Proton Mail. Anyway, Exhibit 2, it gets better, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think that last one was the best. But this is what I would theoretically write as a sorry note. Now, this could be written by some clever scammer who thinks, wonder if this company will actually fall for this and send me $50,000. And then they'll get crickets. So that could be just a cunning way of getting $50,000 out of Chris. I wouldn't put it past them paying it to see if it works. But anyway, that was funny. But anyway, let's have a listen to this. Oh, my God.
I have recently made numerous posts regarding Goliath Ventures Incorporated, Chris Delgado, and other people affiliated with Goliath Ventures Incorporated. I have always strived to provide the truth to my readers and listeners. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, the information I was provided regarding Goliath was false. I was provided with this information and was being monetarily supported by people who had improper motives and personal animosity towards either Goliath or Mr. Delgado. I had no idea. To be clear, I do not have any evidence that Goliath is a Ponzi scheme, nor do I have any evidence that Goliath is operating in any improper manner. I have taken down all of my prior posts to the contrary. I consider myself an honorable person, and when I am wrong, I say I am wrong. To Goliath, Mr. Delgado, and everyone else impacted by my posts, I humbly apologize. To each of you, I am very sorry.
This friggin' hilarious, man. That takes the cake. Now, I'll go to my website once again. I want you guys to read the very first words that come up on my website. Here they are. Ausent investigative journalist. That's what I do. I'm an investigative journalist. That's what I do. I don't get bribed by anybody, even this here. And if I was really into the money, that's a lot of money, $150,000. My mate's going to come around, who's already been around to my house, and here he's going to come back, and he knows he can convince me because I'm really concerned. I'm not concerned about telling the truth. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, that went on for a long time. So the letter claimed that someone emailed Goliath on my behalf, offering to take down all the reporting for $150,000. You heard it here first. And this paragraph that was at the top, basically, you have that on official court documents. And as we showed you guys in Orange County, we haven't even got the service papers. The service papers are not even filed in here yet. They might turn up next week. I don't know. But at the moment, they're not here. Nor was this document, which is absolutely ridiculous. So let's see what the motion of dismiss really says. So why did I do the motion of dismiss document?
For readers unfamiliar with legal language, here's what it means in simple terms.
Yeah, so I don't really understand it either, but I had to spend a lot of time and energy putting that together. So if you don't understand what a motion to dismiss actually says, because when you're reading it and it's in here, you can click on it somewhere there, click on that red thing there, and you can actually read it. It is actually quite well written. Well, it's beautifully written.
Jurisdiction. Florida's courts can only make rulings over people who have meaningful connections there. I don't. I live and work in New Zealand, 13,000 kilometers away. Expecting me to defend myself in Florida is like finding a New Zealander for something they said online in Christchurch.
Yeah. Imagine that. I heard that Danny DeHet was at a coffee shop and he said that Goliath Ventures is a scam. Let's sue him. Go to the Florida court and send him some papers immediately. Okay. Was that what we're doing?
Service. When someone sues across borders, the documents must go through the official international process. In this case, that's the Hague Service Convention. Instead, I got a random delivery at a shop. Zero legal validity.
Yeah, guy didn't even know who was serving the papers to.
Anti-SLAPP protections. These laws are built to protect people from corporations who file lawsuits just to shut them up. They let a judge throw out such cases quickly and make the aggressor pay costs.
Thank you for being here, Microsoft Certified Trainer. It's nice. I'll put your message across the top there. People can read the messages across the top. I'm trying to click on all of them. There is one from Susie going hilarious. Yes. So SLAPP, anti-SLAPP. This is what I had last time. A SLAPP. I thought, but it's not. It's basically shut up. That's what SLAPP stands for. There is a fancy word for it. Yeah, application. I don't know, but you can look it up if you want to. So, in plain English, my 22-page filing explains Florida has no authority over me. Well, I can't see how they do. So I had to figure that out. We managed to figure that out, and we've put it in a nice letter. Always write your letters to the judge in double spacing. That's all I'm going to say. And remember, I've got no legal counsel, so hopefully I've got that right. I better look at it now. Don't live or operate there. It's really simple. I wasn't properly served. If I was properly served, I'm pretty sure we'll be finding the papers or the document that you served me in here. So it's all intimidation. Hopefully I'm wrong because I've got no money. And if you do serve and you do win and I've got it all wrong, you're going to get nothing. That's probably why you haven't asked for something. I don't know. Anyway, okay. My commentary is opinion, not defamation. My opinion is that you're running a friggin' big Ponzi scheme. You don't have the money. And you're not making the money the way you claim. And also, I think you're broke. That's the funny thing. Well, it's not funny. It's not funny. But you're running out of money. You ain't got enough money. We were trying to work out with somebody else the other day how much money Christopher spent in a year. And we said 50 million. And we ended up with the 5 houses he has now because he's just bought another one. 5 houses he has, maybe 2 houses in what's that place, Dubai, where 3 of them are already gone. And then we had 2 Rolls Royces. The other day I thought it was his McLaren parked outside this place, and it wasn't. It was a McLaren, and he's got a black Ferrari in Dubai, and he's got has he got a blue? I'm not used to sports car, but he's got like $4 million worth of cars. And he's bought himself an $8.5 million house. I think there's mortgages on some of it. I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe you paid too much for those houses. We are looking into that as well. So I don't know, but we figured out that he could have possibly spent $50 million last year. That sounds good. And also shouting drinks and tipping people to do naughty things, perhaps.
Goliath may not even have standing to sue, since their Florida registration was closed.
Yeah, you can't shut down your Florida company and then use Florida courts, can you? Because it's like we're doing the majority of our business in Florida, but then we shut the company down and go off to a state over here that we've got no offices in here. And then, let's not talk about Bringers, who works for Samuels. Anyway, let's carry on.
Every claim is supported by law and sworn affidavits, written with no legal counsel, only research, evidence, and resolve.
Yeah, so why does it matter? Well, why this matters? Well, let me tell you a wee story, another personal story. I've always told some pretty hard things. Stephen Andrew James McCullah. So he's the guy that actually has been setting up all these websites against me. Well, I don't think Chris's lawyer is that intelligent. But if you went to Danny D. Hickey, like this one here. So this website's been set up by Stephen McCullah because I've been doing videos about him because now the gloves are off. He's lost his court case and he's still trying to scam people. So this is his way of fighting back. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so we come back here. And so Stephen, this is the American entrepreneur who did a Kickstarter campaign, got $29,000 together to go hunting for live dinosaurs and dog-sized spiders. and then he's even bought himself, he was going to buy himself a country called the United Allied States, but he didn't just do that. He set himself up Congress. He had transport ministers, education ministers, and then he got sworn into Congress as the president of the United Allied States. And then he had Gold Inc., which was a game that when you won it, you were going to get paid in real gold. He had a Polo FinTech, which was a company that was also gold backed. Then he had this the Strava network, which was going to produce his version of was it TikTok? Facebook and YouTube and he was providing this platform for governments to run on. This is his grandeur. Like just the other day, I did a voiceover. If you go and look at one of the videos, and it was called AMA 9, and he's telling people that he's got this blockchain that is called Knox Wire, and he's going to fire it up again, and he's going to be able to do voice commands voice commands using AI to create apps. Yes, apps. So you want an app, you just sit in front of the computer and you fire up his software that he's about to launch next week, and you talk to it and it will create you an app. That's what he's producing now. But if you get in now, you can buy his token that's worthless. And it just goes on and on and on. But this guy was such a big scammer that I had a field day with him. And when I got the cease and desist letter in January 2022, I actually wrote back to the lawyers and gave them a 4-hour, 47-minute, 19-second long video showing all the things he did, and asked them why they represent such a guy that's 100% scammer. Anyway, long story short, we got paperwork from the High Court, and I thought, oh God, and then I wanted to represent myself. I couldn't do it. So I had to hire lawyers. These lawyers charge $800 an hour. Now, would you believe that those same lawyers have been contacted by Oliver asking if they would take papers on my behalf? But our lawyers in New Zealand that charge $800 an hour have got a brain in their head. They told him to, let's say, off something. And they are brilliant lawyers, but they're not, I don't have any legal representation and they are not representing me. But the fact that they contacted these lawyers and they dug through this case thinking that they could start sending papers to these lawyers is just showing you the acts of desperation.
An American entrepreneur best known for his involvement in Luna One, formerly Gala XGXX, and other speculative blockchain projects, filed a defamation lawsuit against me in the New Zealand High Court, Christchurch Registry. The case, McCullah v. Heck, 2023, NZHC 2230, was found to be a vexatious gagging writ, a textbook example of a strategic lawsuit against public participation SLAPP.
Yeah, so this, you can click on it and read about it. This is actually in the New Zealand Law Society magazine now. This is actually a landmark case, and we won. And we showed them how to do it. There's actually a team of lawyers at the moment working on using my case as an example to change the law about SLAPPs. And also, I can't tell you this, but there's a university doing a study on it as well. This is just my case. So, and we fought that brilliantly, and we won. So this is what happened.
McCullah sought millions in damages and injunctions to suppress my YouTube videos and reporting about his ventures. The court ruled that he had no genuine intention to proceed to trial, describing the claim as an abusive process designed to stifle public commentary. The case was discontinued, and the court awarded me indemnity costs of $27,500, formally recognizing the proceeding as a vexatious attempt to silence investigative journalism.
Sound familiar? Funny story. The guy's now separated from his wife he had at the time, moved back to Missouri, living in Springfield, got himself a new wife, hi Ash, and remarried on the 3rd of the 3rd of the 19th this year. And we couldn't find him. And even the New Zealand taxpayer was after him, and they rang me up to see if I knew where he lived, and we didn't. And just about 25 days ago, he popped up, there he is here. He popped up because he's now remarried, and we've found out where he basically lives. I mean, if any investigator wanted to find out where he lives, we know where his wife has her business. We could find him. Anyway, the, what do they call that? Legal aid rang me up, asked me if I knew his address so they could send the bill for $27,000. I'm now paying off my bill at $15 a week, which we worked out the other day is going to take me, I think, 7.5 years. I don't have any money. This is just trying to shut me up.
That ruling showed how easily powerful figures misuse defamation law to silence critics. Now, Goliath is using the same playbook, this time on a global stage.
Yeah. This is the publicity where, like, you know, the publicity where this is going to get is going to be massive. I mean, he's gone and smoothed with all the big names, and he's got photos to prove it. And now we're exposing him. I mean, I can't tell you who we've been talking to, but, you know, I can tell you that we haven't talked to Wall Street yet. But if Wall Wall Street Journal is listening to this and they want a story, please reach out to us. That's one we haven't got yet.
This case proves how corporations and their lawyers weaponize courts to punish journalists. They make the process the punishment. Instead of answering questions, they bury you in paperwork, hoping you'll give up.
Now, wouldn't a legitimate company just answer the questions and show us the smart contracts, and also even show us, wouldn't you, first of all, wouldn't you want to see a building with 200 people in it at least working this company? That's, and then wouldn't you want to also see like their mining farms? I mean, after all, remember, this is what they said on their website. But no.
If they can intimidate one independent journalist into silence, others will think twice before exposing fraud. That's why this fight matters, not just for me, but for anyone who values transparency and free speech.
And I'm proud that I stand up for what I believe in. That's what I do.
Where things stand, the letter was explicitly labeled a confidential settlement communication under Florida and federal evidence rules, giving it a veneer of legality while concealing threats beneath. This framing made an act of intimidation look like a formal negotiation.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
At this point, I have no legal counsel, but I do have the facts. I filed my motion to dismiss and submitted to affidavits proving I've never lived or worked in Florida and that I was never properly served. The filings are public record.
There is another saying out there, guys. It is what it is. If something happens, it happens. I can't do anything about it. I mean, but the fact is it just doesn't make sense. And, like I was just going to ignore it. And then I thought, nah, stuff it. I'll do a bloody motion to dismiss, because it was so ludicrous. And then when we got this other letter, it was even more ludicrous. And they're literally offering me $150,000. When I had my Avengers have a wee read of it, they said, he's offering you $150,000. No, he's not. Where did you get that from? I said. And they said, read this. I go, oh, you think? Oh, he is. Oh, $150,000. That'd be cool. I could buy myself half a Lamborghini.
The response to settlement overture letter and the subpoenas will also be published so everyone can judge for themselves. When you read them, you'll see what this case really is. A performance meant to frighten, not a pursuit of justice.
Yeah. Oh, you frightened me. I've been through hell and back, man, with my life, with shit that I've gone through. And a lot of people who are my Avengers are the same. You're not going to intimidate us.
Standing up to intimidation, I won't hand over sources. I won't take hush money. I won't stop reporting. My motion to dismiss exposes the fraud behind this lawsuit, and the response to settlement overture shows the manipulation behind their tactics. Together they paint a clear picture. A company, and its lawyers, desperate to silence criticism through fear.
You picked the wrong journalist. You'd think that I would hand over my whistleblowers for money? Do you think I'm worried about saving my own bacon? Do you think I've done something wrong? I'm a journalist. I'm just reporting the truth. You're doing a slap. You're trying to silence me. You're trying to intimidate people, all because you thought you'd get rich quick and run a big Ponzi scheme. And now you're running out of money. And even your investors meeting, I would have loved to be there. I couldn't make it. We couldn't get there. Oh, thank you. Somebody's just given me a gift. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. I just want to do this full time. I'm just getting started, guys. It's very nice. Very nice. Thank you very much. Anyway, it's getting late, but I think we need to just finish off here. So if you've been watching my series on Goliath, I'm actually really proud of my Avengers and what we've been doing. And some of this does come at a personal cost, not just to me, but to my Avengers. And I think the world's just sad. And I am honestly truthful at saying that these big money scams just destroy relationships, friendships. And I've got some amazing friendships. I go to bed at 2:00 last night and I'm still chatting to my Avengers about stuff, strategies. And we don't get paid what we're worth. I think since I've been doing this, I've made a little bit of money from donations, but nothing. It's not about the money. It's about the relationships. And life should be about the relationships. What the F is this stupid Lamborghini, Look at me, I'm in a jet. Look at me, my bottle of bubbles has got a sparkler on the top of it. And look at me, I can afford to pay $1,000 for a bottle of tequila. And look at me, my girlfriend. Oh, I wish she's in the toilet doing something to some guy, which I don't really mind, suppose, because that's where I met her. I don't know, whatever that shit is. What is it, guys? I mean, look at the amount of scams that are going on at the moment. Is it really that important? Are you watching Instagram? The guy with the bottle on his head, he's worth nothing. I got told from a reliable informant that he probably gets $90,000 a year. And here he is in a jet looking like he's a millionaire. He's worth nothing. But he hangs around. All these guys on Instagram, they're living a veneer life. I don't have anything, but I'm not sitting there going, woe is me. I have relationships. I have friendships. I can laugh when I go out. I can be happy. I can smile. So the series, the first one we looked at was the contract. The contracts, I said at the very start, their own contracts are going to be their sword they fall on. If you read the contracts, you shouldn't have signed it. It must have been prepared by the same lawyer company. Then they had, what did they have? The compliance. The second video we did was all about the compliance. Then they come out and said that we were trying to run a smear campaign. We were the dream stealers. The vanishing bookkeeper who shut down her company on the 2nd of September. And we found out since that Nadia Bringers actually works for Samuels, the guy that's registered about 500 companies. She is the lady that's controlling all the numbers. She was capable as a bookkeeper to hand out $100 million worth of dividends in 2024. And then she shut down her company. We thought, oh my God, they're trying to cover up the paper trail. But don't worry. She reopened her company in Wyoming. Fake audits. Yes, we blew that. We found out the fake audit was from our guy, Matt Burke. And now the company that he was doing the audit with has merged itself into Goliath. So Black Block doesn't exist anymore, even though the website's still up, myblackblock.com and also mywealthmd.com. You can go have a look at those two websites if you want. Fake audits, fake everything, and now they've scrubbed the minister from the website of his own church. They don't have any, I can never get that word right, but they don't have any registrations. They don't have a license.
FinCEN.
They don't have a FinCEN license registration in Wyoming or in Florida. They don't have any licenses to handle money. So if you give somebody $100,000 and he puts it into a bank, how's the bank handling that money? How does the money laundering law come into effect? They don't have licenses for this stuff. They shut down their company on the 3rd of September. So your contract's worthless. Maybe we talked that. Now, clawbacks. So you've made more money than you put in. Really? I've got people I can't say who, but they are prepared to hand their money back when they're asked for it. They know that they shouldn't have taken more money than they've got. One guy had been paid out $2.8 million more than he put in and got as much principal back. $2.8 million profit. Where does that money come from? It's not coming from liquidity. So clawbacks are a concern. If you think you're sitting there quiet, come out, reach out to us. We'll put you in contact with the right people. We're actually looking for a few more stories to tell at the moment. We've got some good stuff happening. If you want to tell your story, you want to come clean, you want to talk to people, come reach out to us. Every time I do a video, I wake up in the morning and there's more emails from people saying, hey, I can tell you some stuff. Don't think anything that you have isn't useful to us. We've got a database, we put it in, we have the persons of interest list isn't our database. This is what people think. Let's have a look here. All right, so I've got Ponzi schemes and scams, right? We go to the home. We have whistleblowers as well. Whistleblowers, the Terminator's a good one. That's where we take down people's websites. We have a massive database. And the persons of interest, this area here is general. If we go into America, we've got 200 Americans in here, which aren't related to Goliath Ventures at all. But if we go to Michael here, I think he was in... and then we go to persons of interest, we put them into groups. So all these people here, these are people who we know are connected one way or the other. We've got, like Piers Curry, for example, absolutely brilliant. we're looking through photos as we do, and then we're sitting here looking at this photo going, oh, this is where he used to work. And there he is in the middle, It was such a laugh. And he looks like just the greasiest lawyer. Well, he's not even a lawyer. He's not even registered. And this is the guy that was working with Matt Burke. It's just absolutely crazy. So there's Matt Burke.
It's habitual addiction that I keep running to. If I can just stop that.
If you could just stop scamming people. But if you go to my YouTube channel, they did a copyright strike on one of my videos, and it's just been re-released. So if we come down here, this video here is it's been put back. So that Goliath Ventures tried to remove this video. And this video is breathtaking because it's...
Okay, but the actual question...
So yeah, I don't have a net worth of $1 million, 2 years consecutive in my house.
So this video, they don't want this online. 39 people viewed this video before we found it, and we put it online again. So they've removed this video claiming a false copyright strike. We were using it under fair use. The copyright strike has been undone, and the video goes back online. I did not re-upload this video, but somebody at YouTube might be looking after us. But if you come into the More button, you can see that we've actually gone through and time-stamped all the claims that they've made. Threatening tone towards questions, amidst they invested with Chris, or whatever it is. The whole video has been broken into everything. And then when you go to the very bottom, you can actually click on view all, and then all these little wee bits will pop up. So here we go. Listen to this. So we'll go play.
Account minimum for JV contracts is $100,000. What Chris has decided is existing partners who are under the $100,000 minimum will have 90 days to meet the minimum standard.
So there's a statement where Matt Burke is telling people that were previous investors that if they didn't reach the threshold of $100,000, they were forced to up the ante within 90 days or they get kicked out. Oh my God. So they were squeezing people for more money. And this was 2024. But you can go through here and you can now, so this is the dirty tactics. They didn't want this video online. Why would I be able to keep it online if I was doing something wrong? I mean, these guys were running a scam and we have busted them. And that's the truth of it. Anyway, so what have we got? So we've got clawbacks, security questions. Are your contracts legal that you've got with them if they've shut the company down? I can say it really easily. No. What real funds look like? If this was a real company, what would it actually look like? If they were doing what they say they were was real, what would the real company look like? That was number 9. So people that have been receiving, like the nightclub owners, the people that have been decoring their cars out, the people that have been running lavish events and taking all this scammer money and using it. The flash bags, like his girlfriend, he's meant to spend, there's another $1 million, $1 million on his girlfriend last year. I mean, so, are people getting these lavish gifts? What's going to happen to them? Then we've got the FBI director, Kalpesh Patel, Ron with Andrew Tate. So we've got photos. So we've got them hanging out with Andrew Tate. And then we've got photos of Ron DeSantis and Kalpesh Patel. This is amazing. So these are really amazing things. So here they are, these big people, and there's Christopher doing the old, take a photo of me stuff. So then I got sued for telling the truth, that one. And then I got 3 copyright strikes. Well, we got 2 copyright strikes from Goliath Ventures, and the rest were from another scammer who claimed that I caused him to have a stroke and was going to sue me for $300,000. He's really pissed off because we keep taking down his website, and liquidity pay.finance is about to go down very soon, so we've been told, and he got really upset. I was in a Bloomberg documentary outing him, and it's a long story, but basically he was claiming that his credit card was backed by Visa, but Bloomberg, who do really good investigations that take 10 months, reached out to Visa and said, do you know Chavez Anwar? And are you familiar with his card at the time that was called 9Pay? And they said, no, we don't. We don't normally say we don't know, but we don't know this guy from a bar of soap. So he rebranded the company 2 weeks later, and now it's called 9Pay. And it's sort of a bit of a funny thing. But so this is 9pay claiming that they have a card that's backed by Visa. Visa don't know who the hell they are. So what we did is we heard this, and before they could do it, we went and got 9pay.com, and I set up a website called 9pay.com. This guy's really pissed off with me, and he's tried to remove this video 3 times, and we keep getting it back online because we have to go through. We know how to talk to Google, YouTube. And then we've got pictures of him here. And videos exposing him. So everyone that pays $1,000 to get one of his credit cards, $550 of that money goes to the multi-level marketing person that introduced you into it, because that's all it is. And there he is with Bloomberg sitting here for an interview. So, we were basically showing, the copyright strikes as dirty, disgusting behavior, and they don't own the copyright. This video, the same video I'm doing right now is like the video that they claim they own the copyright on, which is illegal. And then in there, we showed cases where YouTube have actually taken these people who have done these fake copyright strikes to court and won. That sort of carry on. Right, crypto crash. So that was a great blog. $380 billion lost in a day. I shouldn't be smiling. That's disgusting. And then all of a sudden, what did you hear from Goliath? Nothing. Because he's not doing anything. It's a Ponzi scheme. He doesn't need to sweat about crypto crashing. It doesn't. And don't worry, everyone's insured. We had to do a thing about that. And then number 15. So this is the 15th blog that we have done. And this is my 22-page motion to dismiss, which is absolutely fantastic. So look, all our information is open source. Some people called us a hacker the other day, and it's an insult. We're not hackers. We don't need to hack. We know how to search around the internet. We get our information from publicly available records, web archive pages, corporate filings, domain data, social media activity. We're not blocking. We're watching everyone online. Tomo. So no private data, no hacking, no unlawful stuff. We don't do things like that. We don't need to make shit up. We're the Avengers. And that's who we are, and that's what we do. Look, I think I've done my dash. And I think I just want to say thank you. I'm sorry that was a bit of a heavy one. Every time I do these videos, I actually do watch myself back, and I think, how did I come across? Hey, look, if you really want to support me, I think I counted 12 people the other day actually have joined my YouTube channel. I know it's probably not much, but if you can afford $1 a month, click join. It's underneath the video down here, and you can pay me $1 a month, or you can pay me, I think I have a megaverse, I think it's $10 a month. Really would value it, especially right now, because if I do have to go to court and defend myself, and then maybe they do actually file the paperwork correctly, and maybe I have just got it wrong, and I know I haven't, because I literally bet my life on this. This is what I do. This is my life. This is my everything. And my Avengers, it's their everything too. We want to see justice. We want to see Christopher. I'm not stopping, and I promise you this, I'm not stopping until Christopher is in bars. Tomo's in bars, handcuffs. Christopher's in handcuffs. Tomo's in handcuffs. Alex is in handcuffs. Piers Curry's in handcuffs. And Matt Burke is in handcuffs. Those 5 people I want to see in handcuffs before I stop. And I'm going to keep coming after you, and you can keep trying to make out you're somebody when you're absolutely no one. I know I'm a good person. I know I've got a good heart. I know I speak the truth. And that's all I'm guilty of. You guys are the bottom feeders of the planet. You have tried stealing people's retirement funds. That's why you've gone after all the firemen's. Hey, Stevie, is it Steve? So you've gone after people's money. I know that there's people out there that actually mortgaged their house up to the limit so that they could put 100,000 in. I even know there was people who mortgaged their house up to the limit to put the money in before you forced them to go up to $100,000. And now they can't get the $100,000. I also know there's many people out there that have been told their money is pending, but they haven't got it back. I also know there's people out there who claim they don't have anything to do with Christopher, but have been promoting it to their friends and family. I also know that those same people have also taken their money out. I also know that there's people out there that are still promoting this. Now, how do you sleep at night promoting this Are you literally telling me that you're just going to ignore what Danny DeHeck says and his Avengers, and you're going to keep promoting this and have a punt with other people's money? Piers Curry, how's that new house going? You're about to take out a whole lot of money to buy that house. Are you hoping that's really going to happen? Now, the chances of you getting that money out are actually quite high. And why would that be? Like the guy in Canada, Jay Newton. Yes, we know you. You've brought in over $120 million, we guesstimated. At least $100 million for Christopher. And if you ask for some money out, you're going to get it because you're a recruiter. And it's the same every time. All these recruiters can get their money out. But Piers Curry, you've gone and got yourself a new house. How do we know this? And you've put everything into it. You and your wife. And you're not even a registered financial advisor. But we've got you on video. This video here is you are actually talking like you are a regulated financial advisor, but you're not, because we can't find any paperwork about it.
Goliath, we want to help bring regulation to the industry, and we think this is the administration that makes the most sense to try and do that.
This video is breathtaking because this video admitted that they didn't have everything in order. They admitted that they haven't got any boxes ticked. They admitted that they were doing basically money laundering. And not even basically. They have admitted in this video they were committing fraud. If you haven't watched this video and you are sitting on the fence, don't listen to Danny DeHeck. Go and listen to this video. It's in my live section. All you do is you go to my YouTube channel, click on videos, and then come down here and you'll see this video here. And you can see all these guys. 3 years ago, these guys are all sitting around there. So there's Jason there. He's Canadian. Well, he's in Canadian now. We think we know where you are. We've got firemen in here. All these men here aren't white collar people. These are tradies. They probably all used to work at flipping, what do they call it, In-N-Out Burger? I don't know. All right, guys, I'm Danny DeHeck, and I'm at Jay Newton and Nicholas Petrillo. 21 Ventures is the name of the company, Inc. So yeah, we know who you are. Hey, look, that's 1 hour and 51 minutes of my life. I'm getting back. Sorry, I went off track a little bit. And I just want to say thank you. And also, Susie's just put a comment in there that's actually really cool. And that is the fact that this isn't a new Ponzi scheme. This is a rerun of My Liquidity Partners. And the people that started up that Ponzi scheme have already been sentenced 2 years in prison. He managed to escape to Dubai. 3 people in Christopher's crew are today in Dubai. And I'm sitting there messaging the federal agents, telling them you've lost 3 people. Hurry up. Christopher, you were dropping your kid off at school in your yellow Lamborghini the other day. Big Brother's watching. And so's Danny DeHeck. So it's Danny and Goliath. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.